Madam Chair and members of the committee, my name is Nick Willis. I work for Domeno Public Affairs. Our client is Transwestern Pipeline. Kevin Domeno is supposed to be here to testify, but he's ill, couldn't be in person, so I will just do my best. We're very grateful that you are running this bill again, Madam Chairman, because this bill does bring predictability to pipelines and for rural school districts. This bill, like was stated by staff, which did a great job explaining, it's a repeat from last year. We're calling them the COVID creator bills, those that didn't pass. And so this is also a mirror bill that's being run in finance right now, that SB 1111. We're just looking to make sure this gets taken care of quickly. We've had 2 stakeholder meetings during the interim, both hosted by President Pham, and this legislation represents consensus among us, rural school districts, ATRA, stakeholders. So we're very grateful that we can have this bill here in committee. I can stand for any questions you might have.
Members, any questions for Nick Willis? Oh, Ms. Epstein?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for being here today, Nick. I hope you can answer this question. So, first of all, thank you all for bringing the annual now pipeline bill. I'm starting to enjoy this. This bill essentially takes a look at how do we value the property of the pipeline. And it looks as though we're talking about one method that starts with the book value and includes how much income can this company get from it, and another that is called market value. Now, it seems to me that if the pipeline suddenly lost market value for whatever reason, then we certainly would want them to be able to be assessed at the market value, whatever that is. So my first question for you is market value defined in law at all?
Madam Chair, Representative Epstein, this bill specifically speaks to what happens when there's a disagreement between the pipeline and ADOR. It doesn't actually touch the formula itself and how that's evaluated. The formula is pretty complicated, but it works well once a pipeline is established for a long period of time. But we had new pipeline that was built, and that's why this first started. So this does not affect the current valuation formula, just when there's litigation.
Yes, Ms. Epstein.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If I may, I'd like to I have about 3 questions for Mr. Willis.
Okay. Just so you know, this bill was a consensus agreement between the pipeline and DOR. It's the exact same bill we heard last year.
Right. I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing that. I just would like to be able to sure I can explain it to my constituents when they ask.
Sounds good.
So, Mr. Willis, I didn't hear you answer that market value is defined in law, and I can appreciate if you don't know. I recognize you're here instead of Mr. Domeno, so that's fine. But so I think market value is something that it sounds like DOR just determines what it is, because I don't see it defined in law. But my next question for you then is, the 3 situations in which we would use this bill include the first one, which is when the market value is less than the base value that's determined based on book value and a number of other factors. And so that calculation, it seems to me that calculation does include market situations and how much income can this pipeline generate for the company. So would that be accurate? Isn't the other calculation, doesn't it also include market information?
Can someone please turn off their microphone if they're getting messages? It's kind of reverberating in here. Thank you.
Well, Madam Chair, Representative Epstein, the calculation for the pipeline valuation, I do believe it has to do with the physical pipeline itself and obsolescence and things like that, but also the income that pipeline is generating. So the market value is determined by both of those, and that's centrally assessed by ADOR.
Right. So unless I'm mistaken, this feels like ADOR and the pipeline company have come to an agreement on this bill. Thank you, Madam Chair, for specifying that. And yet, it seems as though things are really not well defined in here. But hey, so the last question is, can we expect to not see a further appeal and other lawsuits from Transwestern against DOR?
Madam Chair, Representative Epstein, I can't speak to the litigation part of it, but I do understand that what we've based this fix on is based on how the railroads operate currently. In the 70s and 80s, the railroads had a lot of litigation. Railroads are very similar to pipelines in a lot of ways because they're centrally assessed by square foot and whatnot. So anyways, the pipeline is going for a fix like the railroads used. Railroads haven't had any litigation since this fix has been implemented. And our lawyers in ADOR, we're all very confident this will be a good fix moving forward so that we don't have this issue.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Willis.
That's a great explanation.
Great. Okay, well, thank you so much, Nick. Madam Chair, are there other individuals wishing to speak?
We have no one else wishing to speak.
Wonderful. Seeing no further public testimony, Madam Vice Chair, can you please move the bill?
Yes, Madam Chair, I move that House Bill 2316 be returned with a due pass recommendation.
Members, the question before you is that HB 2316 receive a due pass recommendation. Secretary, please call the roll.
Representative Cano?
Aye.
Representative Cobb?
Aye.
Representative Dunn?
Aye.
Representative Epstein?
Aye.
Representative Grantham?
Aye.
Representative Kaiser?
Aye.
Representative Powers Hanley?
Madam Chair, may I explain my vote?
You may.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I'm going to vote yes on this today. I think that Representative Epstein has raised some very good points about how it's valued. I also want to make sure that the schools are held harmless. I see that the Tucson Superintendent of Schools is supportive of this, and so I will vote yes today. But I reserve the right to vote no if all the ducks are not in a row when it comes to the budget and holding schools harmless. Thank you.
Representative Sierra?
Yay.
Vice Chairman Barton?
Aye.
Chairman Bullock?
Aye. By your vote of 10 ayes, 0 nays, 0 not voting, you have given HB 2316 a due pass recommendation.